Welcome home to Big Apple Mountain Tarot. I'm Mike Rusnak.
I'm Everest Hall. In this video, we're going to speak to everybody, if I can talk, about the Cancer moon that's going to happen on January 13th. It's a Monday. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a doozy.
It's going to be a doozy, but it's nothing that we cannot handle.
No, we can handle it.
Beings, it's okay.
That's fine.
We'll get through it. We're recording this on Friday. What's the date?
10th.
Friday the 10th. We are well within the orb of influence of this full moon.
Yeah, how you feeling?
You could feel it between Friday the 10th and January the 16th.
Yeah.
Yes, it's this next week.
Yeah.
It's going to be rather intense, right? Because it involves Mars and it involves Pluto.
And the nodes are shifting.
Right before the moon becomes full, the nodes shift into Pisces and Virgo from Aries and Libra.
Now
So right now, the nodes are hovering at 0 degrees of Aries and Libra, and that is the world axis. So world events have our attention.
Right. 0 Aries. So when the spring is coming up, this is kind of the energy we're talking about. World events are what is happening to us individually is also happening to the world. We're really feeling what's with the world. Now,
Our hearts are heavy because of the fires.
God, don't even talk. I'm so terrified. It's horrible.
The fires, and of course, you know, the problem with water is that it's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's either too little of it or there's far too much of it, right?
It's in the wrong part of the country. It's in the wrong part of the sky. I really hope that LA gets the fires under control and that it's not as bad as it seems. Now, one of the things about the Cancer full moon is the moon rules Cancer. So it's the moon's moon.
It's the moon.
It's the moon. It's a very emotional moon,
It's
by its nature. And the way the world is right now, it's very emotional.
And it's within this Mars-Pluto opposition. So this is about power struggles, secrets being revealed. The reality that we woke up in today that we are going to have our first felon president ever. And that's just a fact.
That's just a fact.
It's like he's not above the law.
Yeah.
He's not.
No.
He will be the president, but he's not going to get to overturn this these charges.
And this is one of the things I realized this morning where I was like, ding, ding, ding. You know, it's like justice isn't ever what you want, but success is never what you want either.
No, sometimes you have to let go of the image that you were holding for your life and just start to just enjoy the moment by moment that you have each day. And that's how you build your happiness.
We're getting to something. I know we're getting to something. There's an objectiveness that you need. We're getting to it. This is big kind of like emotional human concepts, this moon. And one of the ideas that I'm having is you got to be objective in reality as far as failures and losses. There's a practicality to this moon.
Be far kinder to yourself than you think you need to be. You do not need to beat yourself up as much as you do.
That's right.
This Mars-Pluto opposition was exact on the 3rd of November. And now if we could get in our time machine and go back to the beginning of November,
what happened?
What exactly happened then?
What happened around the 3rd of November?
The second exact opposition was between Mars and Leo, opposite Pluto and Aquarius on the 3rd of January. So that's a few days before this recording.
Correct.
And it's an echo.
It's an echo. It's an emotional echo. It's a vibratory echo. There's relationships of what's happening.
It's about power play, secrets, and how you hold your sovereignty and how you hold your own ground and how you fight for the thing you know is right.
Right.
The third of these oppositions will be exact on April 24th. So between now and the beginning of May, we will be in the influence of Mars-Pluto.
Yes.
So things may be very heavy.
Now, also,
Do not wallow in the darkness.
Do not wallow in the darkness.
Lighten it up a little.
Smile, laugh. Laughter therapy.
Yes.
Now, just one more thing about Mars. Mars is out of bounds.
Mars is out of bounds. It's been out of bounds since December 30th.
Right.
And it will remain out of bounds. And out of bounds means that it's greater than the normal 23 degrees north or south of the ecliptic that it moves. And when it's out of bounds, it expresses itself more erratically, negatively. You're
aggressively,
more prone to aggression and conflict. Yeah.
Right. So if you look up in the sky, you can if you are lucky enough that you can see the planets lined up, you actually can see Mars is not lined up.
Right.
It's out of bounds.
And this Mars-Pluto opposition is dividing people.
Yeah.
It's about power plays, brute force, passion, war, politics.
Winners, losers.
Winners and losers. It divides people into winners and losers. Climate causes.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And then...
Just to make things more spicy.
Okay, so this is Mars, Pluto.
Right.
And during this full moon, Mars will be conjunct the moon, and Pluto will be conjunct the sun. The sun and the moon will be at 24 degrees of Capricorn and Cancer, respectively. And also...
there's a square.
There are a couple of squares to mention as well.
Squares are challenging.
Yeah. So the sun and the moon will be squaring Eris, right? The asteroid Eris, who is... Think of Eris, the asteroid, as the sister to Mars, the feminine Mars, right?
Yeah. And so in mythology, Eris is the one who threw the golden apple to the gods and said, for the fairest.
And it's the precursor to the Trojan War, right?
This is how the Trojan War started. This is where heroes develop. Okay, take that notion. Heroes develop through this challenges.
Yeah.
Now, this is Cancer. It's very emotional.
Things may be burning and, criminals are leading and everything's on fire and everything's flooding. And what are we going to do about it?
It's not a possibility. It's actually happening.
Yeah.
LA is burning.
Fantasy.
LA is burning to the ground. There's a criminal president. There's war in the Middle East. There's war all over the place. There are North Korean troops in Europe.
Fighting in Ukraine.
Dying because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But so it's like go time. And what do we do? What do we do that? And it's Cancer. And what's Cancer all about?
You're forgiven if you want to sit and cry, but then you got to act.
You got to act.
Yeah.
So Cancer is our emotional space. This is our mom. Yeah. This is our home. This is security.
Vulnerability.
Personal security. So you have personal security happening in this nice little bubble. It's like, me and Mike and Sadie, and we're in love. And then there's all this chaos happening and this really intense squares of aggression, war, power, revolution, recreation.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's like a damn opera, you know?
Yeah.
And what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do when you're sitting in your garret, in Paris, dying of tuberculosis? I'm thinking about La Boheme. But when you're in that operatic moment,
you fight.
You sing a beautiful song and you really sing every single note.
Because you're alive.
You feel every note.
This is the stuff of life.
It is the stuff of life.
It is. There are 5 planets in water. So you have Moon and Mars.
Yeah.
Moon and Mars in Cancer. Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus in Pisces. So it's very wet.
It's
very
foggy.
Heavy. Very foggy.
Very foggy, there's no boundaries to the atmosphere. There's no boundaries to the emotional space. It's super wet and very...
Passions are very high, right? And Capricorn and Cancer axis is about the balance between the emotional and practical security.
Yeah.
This aspect on Monday will be squaring to Eris. It will also be squaring to Chiron, who is also in Aries. Eris is in Aries. Chiron is also in Aries. Yeah. You have a natal Chiron in Aries, right?
That's conjunct my moon.
Yeah, so Chiron was in Aries between 1969 and 1976. So that's a lot of people in your peer group to have this kind of need to heal themselves in their I amness, their ego, and to fix themselves.
To fix themselves in the world.
The way that you cannot get from your parents.
No.
Or your friends, or your lovers,
or your job, or your
else.
Society, or your neighborhood, or your car, or nothing. You can only get it from yourself. Aries, the I am, the birth, the spring, the seed.
Yes.
The forcing out of the cold, dark earth into the sunlight. That individuation. And so this is we're getting to a point here. So although this is a Cancer moon, which is all about our squishy center and our soft mommy parts inside of ourselves, it's also about individuation in the world.
It's about picking the medicine that will heal you. Picking the right medicine, though.
Chiron.
And Chiron orbits between Saturn and between Uranus, which is so interesting that it moves between revolution and
structure,
stability and security and restriction, limits. Yeah. Yeah.
And in the myth, okay, so Chiron is an asteroid, but in the myth, Chiron teaches Apollo medicine, and he was wounded, and we're going back to the Trojan War, he was wounded during the war by a magic arrow, and being a divine being, he was not able to die, and was trying to heal himself. And as he's healing himself, he discovered medicine and was able to give it to Apollo, who shared it with humanity. And through this psychic wound,
it's big pharma
that we all have, these psychic wounds, we're able to heal ourselves.
Right.
While the world seems to be falling apart, but it's actually within transformation, and we can either roll over and cry ourselves to sleep, or we can do something about it.
The future truly is now.
The future is now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And today, as we speak...
Will we meet the call?
Of course we will. Yeah, of course you will. Out there.
The last time the nodes were where they are today, it was 2006. And incidentally, in 2006, there were plenty of fires and plenty of floods. And I'm conflicted about tying these extreme weather events to astrology and astronomy.
It pushes the limits of a pseudoscience.
It's definitely a man-made problem that we have. But it's time to look at this man-made problem and to say, enough with the prayers. We have to freaking change the way that we behave.
Yeah. No, I don't
what we do and what we burn and what we throw into the atmosphere. And
this is coming from combustion engine.
Yes,
I believe in fuel and gasoline, and
we're gas heads. We're gas heads.
But it's part of the story.
Yeah.
And although I might not want to say that Neptune rules flooding and fires and all this, it's certainly
okay. Now with this conjunction between Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries, we're just guessing that it might mean. Less water, drier, more fires, but it's such a long transit. It's hard to say that's going to happen. That's going to happen.
Yes,
that's going to happen. Yeah, but it's about looking realistically. Saturn at the reality in Pisces. Water, our
internal water, our emotional water, in relation to these big, fiery, aggressive energies.
During this full moon, keep asking yourself, how could I bring my unique gifts and my unique strengths to the whole? What are they? How could I honor them? How could I sit and fight in my own sense of sovereignty? Right?
And, so once again, it's Cancer, mother, emotion, family, the larger family, the larger household, a friend to all. One of the things that we can do is we can reach out to our friends and just ask them how they're doing and listen. That's a very active way of being compassionate and being maternal and loving. Reach out to a friend.
I'll get behind that.
Reach out to a friend. Just see how is everybody doing. Just check in.
I'm just there for you. I'm there if you need to talk.
I'm there if
you need to talk.
I'm there if you need to talk. We're here if you need to talk.
We are here. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And we wish you well.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to do great. And we love you.
We love you very much. Thank you for your likes, comments, and shares.